Proceed with caution.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. How's everybody doing? Thank you for joining us. Derek and I are back on Thursday night, 6 p.m., 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we are large and in charge. We are going at it full speed ahead because that's the only way to take on life. Derek, what's up, brother?
Oh, dude, same old stuff, man. I'm trying to hang loose and get some sleep finally. I'm trying to rest up for once, but it's not going to happen. I'm wired tonight. Like,
Good.
it caught up
That's
with
awesome.
me, so we're good.
Good. You know what's
How about
cool?
yourself,
I
brother?
love that shirt. That Wheels Across America, that Wheels for Warrior shirt was the dopest one. Although they didn't have it in, I almost said fat size because that would have been fat shaming me. They didn't have it in big boy size. So I'm going to have to get a hold of what are we calling it? The Warrior Stock? Are they going to combine the names? Remember they're like
I don't know what they're
forces?
going to do, man. It's going to be wild.
I think it's just a full sentence, a run-on sentence of Wheels for Warriors, Hero Stock, 2020, whatever date it'll be.
Yeah, they're just going to have to make it up as they go.
I'm just going to do an emblem for them. Hey, what's up, choo-choo train, man? So Mikey is Mike's a dude that I worked with. He's been awesome on the show. Thanks for joining. He has retired from the Safeway grocery store chain of families, and he is the conductor now in his little. I apologize, Mike. I didn't mean little. In his garage, I'm calling it a garage, a he shed, and he has like, I don't know, man. I see like 7 or 8 different trains running through there, but it's dope because the Instagram's kind of blown up, and I think. Let me see. Did I have the link or did I screw up the link, Mike? No, I didn't have it set, but I'm going to create something for him for the show.
I got to tell you, I'm a little jealous because I kind of like I have like a weird obsession with wanting to get into like those collector train deals.
Oh, 100%, dude. Hey, so yeah, I do know that my wreath on a Wreath Across America hat that I just got like yesterday, I think. It shows the background, but the other hat. Oh, what other hat? What? The brand new Contagion Effect hat that is out and ready for purchase. Ooh. We make 25 cents on the hat, but the problem is the green bill. So when I wore it,
that's a good look.
Dude, it's a great logo. Christy Wood's daughter, Marissa Wood, she did some work for us, and so that's going to be. I know I've played around on Canva. I love doing Canva, and I think that's the emblem that we're going to go with. We'll see what happens. It's still, Travis Amaral, thanks for joining, buddy. How you doing? How's the commodity world? Are you out there trucking? You shouldn't be at 6 o'clock. You should have got your ass home by now. Oh, shit. Just like that. What's up, Triple B, the
Triple B
Battle Buddies? What's up, man? What's up, baby? What's that? Appreciate it, but you got too much going on. Yeah, no, for sure. Don't worry, dude. Don't worry. I'm gonna get a little video thing.
Yeah, don't worry. You're still gonna do it.
Yeah, we're gonna have your TikTok up there and all that good stuff. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. Hey, how exciting was that? Well, it's every week's exciting for us because we have cool guests because we don't talk to people that aren't cool. But Cody, I know, totally hyped up, dude. And I left my Red Bull in the other room too. What's up, Tonto? What's up, Joe? Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Yeah, Cody was pretty fire last week, man. He had some good stuff. And a guy like that's incredible. Just positive. Yeah, dude. It's energetic, man, and it's transitioning from that is just it's awesome. I love that. But you know what else is awesome is you can listen to us on Tuesday nights. You want to hear about that? Let's hear about it. The Contagion Effect Show can also be heard on Wreaths Across America Radio on Truckin' Tuesdays at 11 p.m. Eastern. You can find Wreaths Across America Radio on the iHeart app, the Odyssey app, and the TuneIn app. Search the word Wreath. Search the word Wreath. as I'm doodling over here. I was doodling, and I almost made the emblem, the fire emblem that they use. I almost
Oh
made
yeah,
that, and I
yeah.
think like I do want to do a fire emblem because I've been watching Chicago Fire lately, and I think
Oh
I got
yeah,
like
that'll
one
get you. That'll
episode.
get you amped up too, man.
Oh yeah, no, it's cool. Chicago PD is not as exciting as Chicago Fire. It's like they just drive around in cars and then break down doors, and I'm like, yeah, you can't do that. At least the
Yeah, I
fire
can't get
trucks are
into
there.
those, but I got into Tacoma FD.
Okay, I'm about to check that one out. You have a
It,
bunch
it
of dorks right now.
dude, Tacoma FD is funny. It's a comedy. It's the guys
Oh,
from
is it?
Broken.
Okay, okay. I'll have to
It's the
watch
guys
it.
from Broken Lizard that made
Okay,
Super Troopers.
right on, right on. Hey, we need to start the show. We
Get into it.
Yeah, so let's do this. Let's do this real quick. I want to give a snippet. I want to give a snippet of our guest first because he is a beautiful man and he has provided the utmost security for certain companies, and he has done more for our country than most people have. And this guy is he's just a great American. But I got to start off with this. I have to do it, Derek.
You're going to have to stay tuned to number 401 to find out why I'm wearing this tiara. And since there's no hair to mount it to, this will be...
Yeah, the times and places, they may change, but one thing stays the same. The stories that they tell about going through hell. If you think they wouldn't do it all over again, well, you just don't know them. The memories that they own of the ones who didn't make it home. But they keep them all living in the stories that they tell.
Such a great song. Scotty Hastings. Go check out Scotty Hastings. I didn't say it. Go check out scottyhastings.com. Thank you, Scott. Scotty, for
We know
all you
too many
do.
people with without the extra S.
Dude, the extra S, the no Y, the add the Y.
It kills me.
It's brutal. It's brutal. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce the man. We're going to get down to the bottom of the tiara because that is it's important. As a father and now a grandfather. Did someone say grandfather? Someone say grandfather. And a grandfather. What?
Oh!
Hey, as a grandfather, Kinsley's hanging out in the top corner with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring on Travis Partington. Travis, thank you for joining us. Kinsley says hi, and welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Eric and Derek, for having me. Eric, congratulations on becoming a granddad.
Thank you, sir.
You wear it real well, sir. Real well.
It's looking good, isn't he?
I'll tell you, it's amazing because a guy put it to me this way. You get to love your kid all over again, and the guidance that you can offer, knowing what you messed up the first time you had a kid, and now your grandkids here, and it's awesome, Yeah, Kinsley's like, we all say the baby's it's a perfect baby, and it's just fun. It's just fun. But yeah, that was pretty fun when she crashed. She knocked out, and I think I went over on Tuesday. I was there like 11 to 4:30. Just two different feedings and a little diaper change here and there. But yeah, no, it was great, man. I love it. I'm definitely a baby hog. But good night, Kinsley. We're putting you back in the booth there. All right, Travis Partington. Welcome? First of all, welcome to the show again. We have a lot to cover because you are a busy man. Not only do you have a normal job, what we call a 9 to 5, which your times may vary, depending on what time zone you're in. I know that you are part of our group and we are part of your group as podcasters and YouTubers and entertainment societies, socialists, I guess. I enjoy it. I enjoy watching your show. I'm glad you got, and I'm glad that you accepted the offer to come on to Military United podcast streams, and also on the Roku. You're also on the Roku channel too, people. So go check us out. We stream through this, that, and the other. But yeah, no, it's awesome. We're everywhere. And I'm a sharer too. So, if you got something going on. So Travis, anyways, I'll stop rambling. I know I haven't had no coffee. I don't know what's going on today.
What?
I'm gonna stop rambling. Tell me where you grew up. Tell me what what home life was when you were growing up and stuff like that, and how you got to go and serve our country.
Well, I started off in the Midwest on a farm, milking cows and hay bales and shoveling manure and all that good stuff. And then we moved down to Louisiana and got used to what real heat was all about, and snakes and crawfish and football.
That's right up
And
Triple B's alley right there.
then life threw me some curveballs, and I got this weird idea in my head. Now you have to understand, I did some growing up in Shreveport, Bossier, Louisiana, and Bossier is the home of the Strategic 8th Air Command for the Air Force, right? Big Air Force town.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I got it in my mind that I'm not going to go to community college. I'm not going to go join the Air Force. The Marine Corps really is the best thing for me because,
Wait.
why not?
Did you say Marine Corps?
Marine Corps.
The Marine Corps?
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Well, let's do this proper.
Good morning, Marines everywhere. Today is November 10th, 2023. It's our birthday, and we actually know when our birthday is. So without any further ado, the annual birthday singing of the Marine Corps anthem. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our nation's battles in the air, on land, and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marine. Hoorah! Semper Fi! Do or die. Number 248. Happy birthday, Marines.
I may play that every single episode from here on out. That is
we just as well. That's motivating, right
I'm
there,
telling
man.
You know what?
We don't look bad for 248 either, man. Like,
no. That's awesome. Doing this show, there's so much information, right? And then you can pull this, pull that. But I'm like, nope, that's it. I'm taking those two, and I'm done for the whole show. So that's all I have. Like Christmas, I suck at Christmas giving because if I buy something like, oh, you want to see what I got you? It's like November. If I buy gifts at all, let's do my kid myself. Why Shauna usually buys all the gifts, but anyways, I had to play that. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you so much, and I'll go back to it because we have a comment about Bossier, Louisiana, because we have some friends that were in Bossier. We had Schaefer Mueller and Kat. They were stationed there for a while. They lived there a little bit. And again, like I said, I know Triple B's out there hanging out. So yeah, no, it was awesome. Boom. So the messages will pop up. I'll try not to, and hopefully you're not in an in-depth, heartfelt message as you're talking and I start laughing because I do that quite often, to be honest with you. But let's get back to it. So Louisiana, you chose the Marines over the Air Force. And what was your reason why?
I just, like a lot of guys, I tried some college, some other things had come up, and I'm like, I needed a total change of pace and scenery. And I'm like, if I'm going to join the military, which was a good thing for me to do at the time, I didn't want to be on a boat. I'd heard about that. Fort Polk didn't really appeal to me, and being in the Army. And I'm like, I'm gonna go for the best. And every time I saw the Marines, they always just were different, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna try that. And I took my ASVAB tests, scored high enough that, hey, you're not going to be an 03. You're going to be something else, but not an 03. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. I kind of wanted to firing the machine gun and all that stuff. They're like, no, you're not doing that. You're
No,
going air wing.
you were high, right? You got into radar.
Yeah, so I
Radar
went to the
electronics?
aviation support, got
Aviation
the
support.
aviation support MOS, and Hawk was there. And I remember being in Marine combat training. It's the train us non O3s do after boot camp, and Partington, 7222 Hawk missile systems operator. I'm like, what is Hawk? And my the CO, Captain Wolf, didn't know what that was either. But the master sergeant's like, that's out of Fort Bliss, Texas. It's a great duty station. They're going to teach you everything you need to know. I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. Went to the airport, called the duty officer, and they come get me. And the first thing Lieutenant Coe says to me is like, hey, our MOS is going away. And I was just like,
Oh,
what? What?
well, wait a minute. They just sent me here.
Right. And I'm like, well, what, ma'am, why would the Marine Corps put me through a school when the job is going away? She's like, you know what? You're like the seventh PFC in a row that's asking that question. I'm tired of answering it. Don't ask me that again. Like, all right. And then I get through Hawk School, and it's a radar air defense system, and it's been around for quite some time. It's used worldwide, and we fire a missile about as long as your car that targets between 40 and 60 miles away. It's a lot of fun. I certainly, look, when that missile leaves the launcher rail and you hear that boom, that's the missile breaking the sound barrier like a second after it launches. I was in. I'm like, you know what? It's too bad they're getting rid of this thing, because I would have stayed in for 20 just with that. I was in. Nothing was better than, they'd send over, we'd practice on people from Yuma. I was stationed in Marine Corps Station Yuma. They'd send over, guys from Miramar or Luke Air Force Base, so on and so forth. We had to practice on them, and nothing made the lieutenant happier than shooting down some Air Force guys. Let me tell you, he got real happy about that. But it was a great MOS, because, for me, even now, it's like, well, what'd you do in the Marine Corps? Well, I was an O3. I was supply guy. I was mortar T. Well, I was a Hawk missile systems operator. No one knows what that is. Like, yeah, get the F out. You didn't actually do that. I'm like, yeah, here's the picture of me putting together the missile that we're getting ready to fire. Oh, wow. It's just cool. It's just cool to the max. And air defense has its own,
Right
like,
there.
yep.
Right above Derek. Right above Derek's head there.
Boom. And the missile leaves a rail, and it is on.
I can tell you're pumped.
It is. I'm all these years later, I'm just pumped thinking about it. And so did that, and then got hurt. And, actually, what happened is about 3/4 of the way through my tour, they're like, "Yep, start packing up all the gear." And sure enough, we decommed everything, got ready to go back to Raytheon, and they're like, "Well, it's too late to." What they said is, you can stay in the Marine Corps, but you're going to have to be a cook or a cannon cocker, artillery. And if you want to get promoted to corporal, because what happened to us is, as a E3, a lance corporal, the cutting score for corporal was 800 points higher than it was for sergeant. So what the Marine Corps did is effectively told, 80 lance corporals, even with a meritorious board, good luck. And they weren't going to promote you on a meritorious board, because like all the H&S people who were like motor T, S2, S1, S3 admin, all those people in BC were like, wait a minute, we're not going to take away that slot from a hawker when we have one of our guys who can stay in the Marine Corps longer get that meritorious promotion. You couldn't get promoted. It didn't matter what kind of PFT score you had, what you shot in the rifle range. You just couldn't do it. So it's like, well, what do you do? And a lot of the option was to re-enlist and get corporal that way if you wanted it that bad, or get out. Well, I got hurt, and it was like, when all was said and done, the Navy told my command, it's like, look, we could operate on him and put him in PT for 6 months, or just kick him out now and be done with it. And that's what they did. So and in retrospect, people are like, were you ticked off? I said, well, I wasn't happy at the time, but later I understood what was going on, and they actually did the right thing. It wouldn't have been good for me to try to stay in with that. It's just the Marine Corps doesn't work that way. If you can't run effectively, you're not going very far. So no problem. I got out, rode my motorcycle from Arizona to Boston, and got started my civilian life. And
Oh, okay. We got to back up
yeah,
a minute. We got to back up a
yeah,
minute.
yeah.
I found a clip I wanted to play you, but you drove your motorcycle.
Yep.
How was that?
It's
How was that?
fantastic. I am
Yeah.
so glad I did that. Of all the things I've
Yeah.
done in my life, doing that was the right thing for me to do to decompress from everything and kind of get
Yeah.
set to leave all that behind. It was fantastic. I'm so glad I did it.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I tell guys, all the time, you're a truck driver. I'm like, yeah, I'm not a truck driver. I don't go all over the states and stuff like that. I deliver groceries to stores. I mean, I work 8-9 hours a day. But if people want to get out and see America and get paid for it, go be a truck driver. Yeah, that's a hard gig being away from home. But if you're single or you don't have kids, it's the best thing in the world, man. It is the best thing. If you're going through it, go be a truck driver because they're paying you to drive across the country. It's going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. Like it cost us a couple $1,000s to go to Ashland, Nebraska for Hero Stock, and I'd pay it again. I'd pay it twice as much because Hero Stock last year in Nebraska was amazing, right? And we flew, so we didn't drive. But I tell guys all the time, dude, if you can do it, if you ain't got a family, if you don't have a family and you're not tied down, go get your driver's license, go get your truck driver's license and do that. And that's awesome. I want to bring up something real quick, and I'm backtracking a bit because it's kind of what I do. And unfortunately, this is very ironic. I'm sure you'll have a comment on this. This is the Ukrainian Air Force demonstrating the operation of the U.S. Hawk surface-to-air missile. There we go. Sorry.
Yep.
The commander of the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Mykola Oleshchuk, has published a video of the operation of the Hawk SAM at.
Yeah.
That's wild. I wonder where they got that from.
Well, I was going to say, we don't get political. I mean, listen, this is right up your alley. I'm just saying. We don't normally do it. I should have vetted the video. But
so I know about that, right?
Yeah.
Actually, Ukraine and a lot of NATO countries have purchased Hawk, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Israel still uses Hawk. A lot of other Asian countries use Hawk. And the reason they use Hawk is it's advanced enough that it's effective, but it's mechanically compact and simple enough that it's easy to use. Now, when I was in, it took a lot to move a Hawk battery from point A to point B. Now things have gotten smaller. You can mount a lot of the radars we'd have to tow in the field onto the back of a Humvee-like vehicle.
Yeah, the video continued on. It's only about a 1.5-minute video.
Yeah.
And I should have played the rest of it. I don't know why it went off. I must have hit something. Because it's basically just like a little trailer, like a little travel trailer is what it's decked out here.
Yep.
It looks like there's 3 missile surface to air missiles loaded up on one, and people can go check it out.
That's the launcher. So you have a trailer that will tow missiles, but you also have the launcher that you can also. So we would mount the missiles onto the launcher and tow it in the field, so you can place it and then fire at airborne targets for speed, right? Because speed becomes a very important factor, right?
Yeah.
So with the way Hawk has evolved over the last 20 years since I got out, people have figured out ways to make it easier to use, and it's mechanically simple enough that if there is a breakdown, like I was towing we were going to a dog and pony show in Miramar, and we're on the road and we catch a nail in my launcher tire. We took it to we pulled on the side of the road, in place the launcher, took the tire off, put it in another 5-ton. The lieutenant drove the Humvee to the tire store, and within a half hour they had patched the thing.
With the Les Schwab.
It was just that simple because it was a common tire size for commercial vehicles, so they were able to fix it no problem. A
Yeah.
lot of the parts on there are designed to be, you know, field replaceable. So people like it that it's dollar for dollar. It's an efficient system to use. So that's why, you know, Patriot gets all the sexy airtime and play, but at the end of the day, it has a very a good track record. So it's cool seeing when Hawk gets his time in the limelight. It's like, yeah, that's my
Yeah.
I did that.
What's up, Joel Hunt and
H
Military
Train.
Broadcast Radio? Thank you,
Oh,
sir,
Joel.
thank you for streaming
Man,
us onto
cannot
your platform.
cannot say enough about Joel H Train and what he's doing. So glad to be part of
Yeah.
MBR, man.
Yeah, we're trying to find a place on there, so we'll see what happens. What did Mikey and I for 10 years in a row? Yeah, see, I mean, yeah, no, I knew you. I think
On
you
the
were a
road
bed bug.
again,
Yeah, I think he, like I said,
driving
I think he was
everywhere
bed
with
bug.
my friends.
Yeah,
I can't
just
wait
can't
to get
wait.
on the road again.
You quit your 9 to 5 and just do that.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
killed.
what's funny is we can jump around this whole show because Mr. Partington does do some voiceovers. Now I will be clear. I tried to find some. I spent a good 45 minutes and I couldn't find the funny voiceover that I was looking for, so I pulled off the 2 videos. But yeah, no. But let's get back. Because I do have a couple questions. So I hate to say memorable, but what was one of the experiences in the military that you were like, oh man, this is cool. Like this is something that I wish more people could see.
Oh, I mean, like I said before, without question, it was every time we did a shoot.
Yeah.
Just because it's not like you know, there's tons of videos about tanks doing their thing. The A-10 gets a lot of props, aircraft carriers, Top Gun, the whole 9 yards. But there is truly nothing like seeing. And the missile is about as long as a car, weighs about 1,500 pounds. There's nothing like seeing that thing leave the launcher, realizing when you hear the boom, it's broken the sound barrier and it's going and it's still accelerating. It's not even hit mass acceleration yet, and you realize we're getting ready to lay some hate on a target somewhere.
Yeah.
There's
And just
been
that in general, right? Just that in general, knowing that there's not a pilot on that thing, like your coordinates and that whole logistics. I mean, just next level. I mean, that's
we're
why
finding
our
you with
military is.
radar, or we're finding you with a visual ID, and we're coming after you. And
So
it makes
crazy.
all the stupid games we played worth it. All the field days and the inspections and the PM of the gear and Gunny yelling at you and water hydration games and cooking eggs in the Humvees, all that stuff. It made it all worth it when you saw that one thing. And I just stayed in for 20 years. I would have tried to stay in for 20 years if they'd still had it. Absolutely. No question.
I missed some. Sorry, peoples. Sorry, you happy peoples up there. I was backed on my comment section there. Yeah. So I mean, when you came out of the military after you were done, did you know what you wanted to do,
No.
or did you kind of like?
I was just like, hey, I had just gotten married at the time and realized I had to, come to a place I didn't know. I didn't grow up in the Boston area, and I had to get settled in, try to find work, and get ready to provide for, we were going to start a family, so I got to be able to provide, and the pressure was on, and so one thing I had to admit to myself a couple of years ago is I didn't. The transition experience was a lot harder than I wanted to admit.
Dang it,
I didn't
that was my next
realize.
question.
Well, I just figured you're going to ask it.
Yeah. I was just going to ask how that transitioning from the military to civilian.
Well, on one hand, it went good because every town in Massachusetts has a veteran services officer dedicated to helping veterans, of any stripe, understanding what's available to them. So I had help there. What the difficult part was, you're not around family anymore. None of your friends, none of your fellow Marines. And I try to tell people, look, you go from showering, shaving, shitting, with
Yeah.
all these guys 24/7 playing Madden with them, going on road trips with your boss to El Centro to grab some tacos and come back to, hey, your coworkers really don't want to interact with you after working hours. That's just not
Yeah.
cool. Your boss is your boss, and they don't care about your life. They care about what you can provide. And that was a brutal, like the abrupt halt on one life and having
Yeah.
to start a new way of thinking was just a lot harder than I wanted to let on. And I
Yeah.
think I think it was just, difficult that way. On the other hand, though, I this master sergeant who was the Abington VSO got me pointed in the right direction. And I'd played around with computers growing up. Hawk's a very technical MOS. So I said, well, I like doing that stuff. I'll just try doing it for a job, right? Well, the problem was I have this technical experience, but people want a piece of paper saying that you're technical. And I'm like, well, I got a DD-214 that says I can pilot a missile from. That's not good enough. So I was fortunate. Again, the VSO got me to a program at the New England Center and Home for Veterans that at the time it was a 6-month computer course, which was like, okay, all the stuff I knew how to do anyway. I just needed to have a piece of paper to do it. But they would teach you everything from how to formatting a disk to typing to, you know, how to install a hard drive. And at the end of that 6 months, I got my little certificate, and then got a couple jobs, and then a naval submariner got me on the company I'm working on now. I've been there for over 23 years, had
Ooh.
several roles in there, and that's how my transition went. And I would say to anybody, I mean, the thing about us veterans is a lot of us, all of us, have to start and stop our lives, at least once in our life when we get in and out, right? But some of us have to find like 2 or 3 things we gotta do before we finally find the thing that is us, right? And that
Yeah.
can be very challenging, and very few think about it, a lot of the people I went to high school with and college, if you went to college to be a doctor or a banker or your trade school, auto mechanic, well, you've been an auto mechanic the last 20 years of your life. Well, for us, I've done multiple things since I got out. And I've had to tool myself a couple different times in life. So it's one of the very unique things about the veteran experience that other people don't get to experience or see that we all understand.
Um, there's questions that I have um, when you're transition when you're so when you decided you guys were going to Boston, and it always seems like there's a group of veterans, like you said. That why do you think that there's always a group? Is it because it's the original 13 colony, part of the original 13 colonies that we had, or is it just they bleed a different, or they support a different America than what, because they're the original? Do you think that that's what it is? Because I can tell you right now, there's not a VFW in every state in California. Now you can say what you want about
Well,
California, but or city, sorry, not state, but city in California.
yeah,
Do you
so
think
that's
it's
true.
just different because it's back there?
Well, I think a couple things. Massachusetts, I didn't grow up here, so let me tell you, moving here was I wasn't in Kansas anymore. Let's put it like that. And people still know that I'm not from around here. It's pretty bad. But
Yeah,
if you look at Massachusetts for all its idiosyncrasies, let's put it like that. One of the things that's very interesting about this state is a lot of people from this state serve in the military for the geographical size that it is. So it's not a big state. It's not a big state compared to Louisiana and Illinois, Kansas, right? But it has a lot of people in it. And in the area that I live in, which is called the South Shore, which is south of
okay.
Boston to the Cape, there are a lot of veterans. So the state realized that these people are coming back. A lot of them served in World War II, and they wanted to have a way to, you know, keep a young workforce in the state and make sure that they were taken care of. And it's a source of pride to them. So,
Yeah.
it was set up that, hey, if you serve our country and you need help, there is some designee in every town to make sure that happens. And I can't tell you the original genesis for it, but it was started after World War II, and it's now a mandate by the state. There are Massachusetts benefits for every veteran. If you qualify or have the right discharge status or have the right need, I can tell you personally, there's been veterans who've come to their VSO for help with food or other kinds of assistance, and that officer helps out. So it's a very unique thing in that state. And like Maine, Connecticut, New York don't have these. You
Yeah.
have a lot of them are like other states where it's at the county level, or you have to go to some of the bigger cities to get that kind of support. But
Yeah.
Massachusetts has said it's in every city.
Okay. Well, yeah, Jolie, that's probably not a
That's
great
wild.
idea. Probably not a great idea to go to Bali. Well, I mean, I guess
Oh,
important. Yeah.
I give
Yeah.
it a shot.
I mean,
what?
yeah.
You're a glut for punishment, dude. At least you're not wearing a Canadians jersey. Are you trying to get
right.
you trying to get kicked tonight? Wow.
I was talking to a guy early. Well, actually, it was last week. He's going to be on. I think he's scheduled on like June 1st, like the first week or second week in June or something. And we were talking, and he's a hockey guy. And I said, man, what about the Hartford Whalers? He goes, they haven't been around for a while. I'm like, yeah, but that was like a cool emblem.
I miss that team, man.
Yeah, like it was.
I miss that team. I'm
gosh.
sad they're gone. I really
Yeah.
am. And people still wear the Whalers jersey. And I Mark Peterson checking in.
Mark. What is
Oh,
that?
love that dude.
Yeah.
Yes,
such
we
good-
have touch.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been pawed by Mark Peterson.
Every time, man.
Yeah. And this is the part, this is where, where the show kind of gets it gets interesting and fun because we have people jumping in and out, and it's a huge family that we're all part of. And I take no solace in being like, oh man, that guy's on that show. Shoot, I can't do that. Oh man, I can't. Oh man, I don't get butthurt on things like that, I guess. Maybe solace might not be the right word. I mean, I was trying to use my SAT word today, but I don't get mad about it. It doesn't irritate me. I will make sure that if I see someone on a show, I'll be like, okay, we'll go a couple weeks out and then we'll I'll move some scheduling around that way. But yeah, no, it's great. And obviously there's a lot out there, but there's so much more, because every day I hear of, oh, well, yeah, man, we need to do this and we need to do that. Like, man, I wish we could connect. I wish we could connect on every Monday like I do with Brian Rue from Every Day is a Saturday. Welcome, my friend.
For Mr.
The man.
Love it. Well, that's why I tell people. I mean, this whole like podcasting show stuff, connections with other veterans through the art of storytelling, it's a big sandbox, man. It's a big, huge sandbox, and there's plenty of space and plenty of toys for everybody. And what you do with Contagion Effect is completely different than what I do with Oscar Mike Radio versus other shows. But hey, you know what? You start connecting the dots and being there for each other.
Yeah,
you can get a lot of momentum on certain things that are important.
Absolutely. I know,
Support.
and I get undue credit. Actually, I hate that. I posted something back or mid of around the October. I saw a thing because we are part of Reese Across America, and we're actually Ace with Bulletproof Podcast. Am I right, Derek?
That's the one.
Yeah, Ace with Bulletproof Project. She just got her acceptance letter. She's going to be part of Reese Across America.
Very
I know
nice.
Mark. Yeah, I know Mark and the People's Patriot Project is part. And again, it's a group of people that just know what their mission is, right? So if you'll do me a favor, I'm going to play this real quick because I cut the one out because I'm trying to revamp it a little bit. But again, Reese Across America, and I want to play this real quick for us.
of remembrance, sponsor a $17 Veterans Wreath for an American hero. Learn more at wreathsacrossamerica.org.
I love the people there. I get to email Chris, and Chris Chapman, he's the program director, for lack of the easier word. It's something fancier, but I can't remember. He has helped me out a lot when I took over full control of Contagion Effect and zipping this and closing that and making a shorter emblem and things like that. So I do appreciate that, because again, they know, they get it, and they support all their shows and stuff. What's been one of the moments where since you got out, you're kind of like, what's going on over there? Like, what are we doing to support our veterans?
Well, I think for me, I'd have to go back to about this time 8 years ago. I'm a lifetime member of my Marine Corps League, and at the time we would do burial rituals for veterans that had passed. And unfortunately, a lot of them at that time were from suicide, and the families just want a little comfort during that time. It's hard enough as it is, and it just felt appropriate, right? And we're doing a couple of them, and I'm like, what's going on here? First of all, I was going through a very tough time personally in my life, and questioning a whole lot of what I thought I knew to be true and right about myself and other things. And hope was hard to hold on to. And talking to some of these family members, it just seemed like these veterans, regardless of Army, Army National Guard, Marine Corps, whatever, had for whatever reason lost hope. And over time had just felt like that there was no way out of their situation, that no one really cared about them or took the time to understand them, and that there was just no one they could connect with. And I found it really hard to believe, but I also understood it, because here I am. I'm like, man, life is really tough right now. Life is not fun. I'm not having a good time, but I never gave up hope. And it's not because I'm awesome or anything. It was just, I had a couple people who, reminded me every day that, I had worth and value. And I realized that, through things like the Marine Corps League and other things, is there are a lot of people who serve and get out who maybe they weren't SEALs, maybe they weren't Special Forces, maybe they weren't Marine Raiders or Force Recon, right? But they served and they got out, and they may have gone through a hard time, maybe not, but they had to reboot their lives, and then they figured out what needed to be done, and they just did it, and started crushing life. Or throughout their pain and suffering, figure out a way to make that work for other people to encourage them. And so that was kind of like an aha moment for me, and that's where Oscar Mike Rio really got started. I'm like, I don't have much. I had no desire to be on video at all, because I mean, come on, I mean, really, look at this face, right?
You're
So,
beautiful.
It's
You're a
handsome.
beautiful soul.
You're a gorgeous man.
like Shrek's little brother, right?
Hey, listen. It doesn't matter what people. Oh, an Eric heard.
Well,
Sorry,
but still, right? I didn't want to write a blog. I said, I was doing some guest DJing at an AM radio station. Jack White and Murray and Robert got me on their show doing some guest hosts about veterans events. I'm like, I like this radio stuff a lot. Radio was my first part-time job in Shreveport at 98 Rocks. I'm like, I'll give this radio stuff a try.
Yeah.
And it was all good until I found out, oh yeah, you need, $250 for an hour for an AM an hour time, and with no help or technical support. I'm like, oh shoot, that's a lot of money a month.
That's a
So
lot
I'm not doing
Yeah.
up front. So I got into podcasting April I met a gentleman at Massasoit Community College. His name's Keith Hayes. We still work together. And he's like, heard me pitch my thing. And he's like, well, put it together. Let's see what we can do with it. And that's how Oscar Mike Radio got going. But it's this idea that, to answer your original question, is, I'm not saying, veterans get damaged. I'm not saying that we become weak. I think we get out. And because we're not in that unit cohesion mindset, we're not mission first, and we're not having to watch each other's six. I try to explain to people, like, look, I didn't serve in combat, but let me tell you, when it's 121 degrees outside, you're watching your buddy, and he's watching you to make sure you don't drop dead.
Yeah.
Because where we were in the desert, if you had a heat stroke problem, by the time they got a helo coming up to get you, you were dead. You were just dead. That's what it was, right? And so you go from that to coworkers who, now I get it, but at the time don't care about you. They care about what you're doing to help them get the job done, but past that, they don't care about you. And so what I'm trying to say is you kind of lose a part of yourself over time, whether you want to or not. And so you lose that. Divorce comes into play. Maybe you lose your job. Maybe an old military injury comes back to remind you, hey, this is why you got out. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just seems like you're hopeless. You have nothing to offer and nowhere to go. And so I think a lot of people lose hope that way. They lose their themselves, and it's hard to get back. And so OMR is a way to kind of help you, remind you that, hey, you're not alone.
Yeah. Like Mark said, we have done things 93% out. There's an understanding we work with. And I think structure, obviously structure is one of the things where it was, we can make structure. A lot of people need structure is what I'm trying to get. That was my point. I almost compared what, military was going to school, and I don't want to disrespect no one because, I didn't serve. But I hear enough to understand that there's different reasons to go into military. Whatever that reason is for certain people, if it's to avoid this, get away from that, family life, whatever it is. I appreciate everyone that signs that line that went in and did that. And I don't regret anything, but that was one of the things I wish if I could go back, I would probably do that. It was that time in.
Well, let me, if I may, Eric, this is a very good thing you're bringing up, and I do want to address it, if I may. I hear that a lot from people who didn't serve in the military. They feel like they're less than, or that they have nothing to offer a veteran or active duty service member like Derek and me, and because of that, they can't be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell another person who asked me the same thing last week. He's asked me that, like, I didn't serve, and I want to relate to and be there for veterans because I believe in what you do, right? And I said, well, there's nothing stopping you from being a great American.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping you from making your business veteran friendly. When you go to hire somebody, connecting with a veteran service organization to hire veterans, right?
Yeah.
Or making it clear that a veteran is welcome at your business. Or when it comes to the end of the year and you're running your business and the tax man comes, okay, well, you have a place where you can put your money. There's nothing stopping you from supporting a veteran nonprofit, right? Yeah. And by doing those things and being one of those people, at the parade, at the event, at the whatever, coming to a veterans nonprofit, you'll do more to support that veteran than not. Yeah. So you can serve in any capacity that you want to serve. And if you're with the right group of veterans, we'll appreciate the fact that you're there. Yes, you didn't serve. Yes, you didn't swear. You didn't stay on the yellow footprints. But at the end of the day, we served so people like yourself could be great Americans.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get it. And my question was going to, I didn't want to compare them, right? But yeah, no, I get it. And again, like we always say, is I understand why I get to do. I'm with Peterson on this. I understand why I get to do what I do because of the people that went before us, right? And this has been our staple of Mike and I didn't serve, but our show is the platform for anybody that is law enforcement, first responder, or anybody cool that I like that I think is cool to talk to. Like military is going to trump it. Military and law enforcement are going to trump this show. You know, and it's pushed a few shows back because I'm like, hey, dude, I got this guy that wants this saw, and it'll always fall on that aspect of we'll get the military on, like we're going to. Absolutely, patriot pride, brother. Patriot pride.
Preach, Mark. Preach.
Yeah.
There's always some preaching going on.
I want to play something. Where'd it go? Shoot. I want to play something before it gets too late in the show.
All right.
Derek Thompson is in a therapeutic state whenever he grabs the guitar, and he's sitting there with his wet hair, looking all cool and dapper and everything.
It was only greasy that time.
Oh God! Don't say it's greasy. That's gross.
It was a good grease. It was
a good grease. Okay, yeah, it was smelting. I want to play this. It's called "Leaving to Me," and I think it's one of those things where we talk about getting out of the military and what veterans need, and you know the help that they need, that they should be looking for, right? I know that Guitars for Vets out of Nebraska with Taylor Olam and the enormous reach and crew that she has done some awesome things for a lot of people. Some people take advantage of it. Some people can learn on their own, but I think it's something that we need to get out there. And I've said something a lot. So let me play this real quick and give my somethings a rest.
Yeah, hopefully it's not too bad.
Well, world premiere, by the way. So we're world premiere.
All right.
Okay.
I've drank whiskey bottle in the kitchen by the sink. I lit your last candle, now I'm sitting in the smoke ring. You might not be listening, but I know you can hear. The bedroom walls, that old Willie song's got your blue eyes raining tears. Maybe I'm being selfish, can't see another way. Just one more time and one last night we can lay in the bed you made. I wasn't made for giving up, but there ain't much that's left of us. You already broke my heart, so just break it off. I ain't gonna play your fool. I wasn't the one running around on you. No, ain't bad guys, so don't make me be. Set me free, yeah, but don't leave, don't leave, don't leave, leaving to me.
Derek Thompson, thank you, sir. Appreciate you sharing that. We will. I want
Always.
Again, it's a little
Nicely done.
about
Nicely done.
3 minutes or so, and no, dude, you've come a long way. So every
I'm always
times
trying,
a week we'll get Timmy. He does a good job, and again, Derek's a veteran. This is something that pulls him out of that dark spot there. Thank you, Mark. That's exactly what I was going to get at. When Derek first started, like we all do, I don't go back and look at the first show, The Contagion Effect, because it's absolutely horrible.
Right.
Can't listen to it. Won't listen to it. Maybe I should. Maybe the show would get better if I did. I've literally probably listened to about 15 minutes of our entire 103 episodes. I can't hear myself. I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, oh God. My point being, you've come a long way. I'm glad you kind of stayed on that more deeper voice part. I think that's
Right.
amazing. You found it. Now we just need to get you out there. I've been tagging Operation Encore, and we're gonna get some things for you in the future, because I think you got something, dude. Sounds good.
We keep flying, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, it again. If it's for you, it's for you, right? If it makes you feel good and you're listening and it's helping you therapeutically, doesn't matter who listens to it, as long as it's for you, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and kind of to go back to Travis's thing. I mean, it's, you know, like when we get out of the military, I think the common trend, or the common thing that, you know, I hear to kind of go along with what you were saying, it's like we lose that purpose. You know, like when we were in the military, we had a purpose. We had that like mission, like you were saying, and you know, we were looking out for each other. And then you get out of the military, when that's gone, that it's like that purpose is gone. That's where that hope, we lose that hope. It's because it's like, what am I doing? Like, what purpose am I serving now? And the music for me, you know, it gives me some purpose again, where it's just like, you know, I can share a story through song. I can share emotion and something for somebody else to connect with. And I think that's why a lot of us podcast too, is because we can share something with other people that maybe they can connect with, they can get some help from, and they can learn and grow from. So we're always out here just trying to do something to help and give a little bit of direction to somebody else.
Yeah. Sorry, I just got some Kinsley pictures. Sorry. Again, you know, I think the podcast and the social media world that we're in, I think it's great. I think having people on and sharing their stories. You know, Travis, I appreciate you coming on. I love it. I think you're doing a great job. And we didn't even scratch the surface. I had a whole list I sent Derek. I had a whole list of stuff, and
there's always a list. It's great.
Yeah, there's always a list, right? Because I was wondering why Oscar Mike, but then I listened to like a couple different shows you were on, which again, I think it's awesome. I love that I can go vet someone and listen to the show, and I know what Oscar Mike Radio means. Do you know what Oscar Mike Radio means, Derek? I do.
I'm gonna have to listen in on this one, because I feel like you've learned.
I have learned, and thank you for not taking that from me. It's on the move, right? On the move radio.
Yeah,
like
we're on
the move.
Or when we say we're Oscar Mike, we're on the move.
Yeah, and again, I think that's I'm going to steal something from you. I'll send you $5 for the copyright, but I'm gonna say like we're on the move. Let's go. Let's grow. Let's grow. Let's go. I mean, same thing with like Mark Peterson. That was, you know, that was my tagline. I kept using, "Hey, let's go," and then he threw an R in there and added a W, and I'm like, "Yeah, let's grow. Frick it. Let's go, man. Let's go." You guys see that? Frick it. See, I even changed. This grandpa thing's got me, bro. It's got me.
It's getting him. You got him.
It's getting me. So yeah. I want to do this. I want to ask a question. Let me bring up my little cheat sheet here. And this is, again, you've been on C-SPAN, right? I would love to I should have got a clip of that too. The 11th month of the 11th day, that's better, you know, that's a very important date in America, in the world, really, because that date reminds people that we're a bunch of badass peoples. And you had the chance to go on and express that, right? Like you shared why. And so when I saw that, I'm like, that is awesome. I need to reach out to him again and see if we can make this happen. Can you share a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, C-SPAN approached me about coming on, and it was, you know, for Veterans Day, they wanted to highlight a veteran, you know, centric podcast. And, you know, the main thing they were looking for is someone to take questions from the call-in audience to talk about, you know, Veterans Day, podcasting, so on and so forth. So first I'll say that it was a pretty amazing experience. C-SPAN did a whole lot to make sure that, you know, my setup was dialed in and ready to go and that I was comfortable, which I really appreciated. And then, you know, people don't believe me, but, you know, I was not looking at my co-hosts on C-SPAN. I was just looking at myself in the in on my monitor, so I
Yeah.
really couldn't see who I was talking to. So I had to really listen and kind of slow down the speed of the show, and understand the questions coming in. A lot of them were from the Vietnam War or an older demographic. One guy's like, I don't even care about this podcast stuff. I just want to be heard. And people laughed at that. People thought it was kind of funny, but I'm like, well, think about it. The only way this gentleman thinks someone's going to care about him or understand where he's coming from is to call a show like C-SPAN and just get his 30 seconds on the air to tell people about himself so that someone, acknowledges him. And, it's easy to, sit there and kind of, I was like, okay, you don't, okay, what's on your mind? And, he told me, he doesn't feel like, veterans get the representation they deserve. He was very upset that, some of the illegals coming in this country were getting to the front of the line versus him. And, for a lot of veterans, it's a very valid concern. It's like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
you're waiting months for the VA to tell you one thing or another. You walk across this border and, the red carpet's rolled out. So it hits a little different. But it was a really interesting experience getting to hear from different people in the country, different questions that were being asked. Um, my co-host was great. She was able to, smooth certain things over and keep the show moving along. I learned a lot from her. And overall, man, I mean, I'll tell anybody, C-SPAN treated me like I was, a VIP. It was pretty cool, and just a unique experience. A lot of podcasters, you know, work on their craft and work on their craft and work on their craft, and it was nice to have somebody. And a lot of it, Eric, was because the VA had profiled me earlier in the year, and I had talked to the director of the VA app. So the main guy who oversaw the mobile VA app being created was on Oscar Mike Radio, and a lot of people caught that show, and it gave them a little perspective about how I do things, and they liked it. So you know you can take this, whatever you're doing, and make it something. And I tell people, be ready. You never know when someone's going to listen to you and reach out and want to hear more about what you're doing, on the local, municipal, or even state level, or national level. And so it was a great experience. We'll see if they ever call again, but was not expecting it, and had a good time doing it.
Um, okay, found it, by the way. So
He's getting there. I like this.
I had to. We're going to show a little bit of it because we can. It's my show, and we can.
Yeah, it's your show, man.
Handsome devil. Handsome.
Look at that guy.
Hamson.
Now by Travis Partington, who's host of Oscar Mike Radio podcast and is a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. Welcome, Oscar. Welcome, Travis.
No problem at all, Kimberly. What a good day to be here. Thank you.
Well, this is a great opportunity. Why is it called Oscar Mike Radio?
I know.
Well, when I started Oscar Mike Radio 7 years ago, Oscar Mike is military speak for on mission or on the move. And I wanted to be on the move for my purpose, and also to underscore that we veterans, we who serve in the military, are on the move always.
So what do you focus on this podcast? And also, how are you funded?
Well, I am funded independently, and sometimes people will donate items or help me out, but there's no real funding except for what I put into this.
I'm going to stop right there real quick. That's first of all, thank you, C-SPAN, for allowing us to play part of that. He just absolutely looks sharp. If you want to go check that out,
there. That is.
We'll have a link. We'll have a link to that. If you want
I've
to
got
go
to
check
get an
that
outfit
out.
like that.
I think if you keep it around a minute, they won't harass you and say,
No, that's no, that's the cool thing. That link is shareable. You can share that as often. I mean, it's really cool.
I kid because I had said something on a show earlier on, and it was something from I can't remember what show it was, but Mike's like, "Hey, did you get permission to use that?" I'm like, "No, copyright infringement. They're going to come down and take our computers and everything." And yeah,
Oh, hey, it's
even
just a quick shout out to Barbara checking in.
yeah,
Yeah.
hi, Barbara Gail. Thanks for stopping by. Um, you know, we could go all night. Obviously, it's one of those things where the squirrel, we can go down a different little rabbit hole here and there. Give me something that I can hang my hat on every night before I go to bed, and give me something positive that we need to continue to do.
Well, Barbara will appreciate this. Because she was a part of this. And I just, if I may, you know, the reason I want to highlight her is Barbara, like yourself, Eric, is a civilian, but through her yoga practice is teaching free yoga classes to veterans in the South Shore area. Had the first class, it was received like the positive feedback from the veterans who came from her class was just really, you know, powerful, which is what I mean is bless you.
Sorry, that came through. Oh my God!
Yeah, that
sorry,
absolutely came through.
Five
That
by
was
did it
five.
really?
clear, brother.
No,
Five
did-
volume.
I muted it.
No,
Oh,
5 by 5.
man.
5 clarity, 5 volume. But
Man,
you know,
sorry.
she did this, right, Eric? And so you have another example of the civilian, you know, serving us. And so it really was interesting. So if I could tell you one thing, and this is from my personal, you know, life story, which we'll get into another time, but you know, we have a certain veteran who comes on different shows, different places, and speaks and says, discipline is the only thing. Without discipline, you are nothing. I don't care what's going on. Discipline is the only way, always. And here's the thing, that individual, at its core, he is not wrong. Discipline is very important to everything, but I think you can expand on it a little bit more. In my personal story, I believe that there's a coin. One side is discipline, for sure. One side is motivation, and the coin is forged from belief. So no matter what you do, starting a podcast, playing, recording a song like you did, Derek, and that was fire, by the way. I'm a metalhead, by the way, Derek, and that song hit me in the feels, and I don't even have a heart. So, I mean, you did something.
Yeah, I
right,
get
bro.
that, man. I get that.
Yeah, right, bro. I'm tracking the whole way.
Well,
You know,
I just want you to know you just extended the show about 3 minutes, because if you think that hit, we're gonna play this one too. I
right.
apologize, and we're backing it up.
We'd never do
We're
that.
gonna play. Yeah, no, I never squirrel this at all. But I'll let you finish your thought first of all, and then we'll play the video that'll.
Right. So you have a coin. One side is discipline, one side is motivation, but it's forged from belief. So no matter what you do, as long as you go at what you're trying to do with believing in yourself that you can accomplish that goal, you will have the motivation to do the discipline to accomplish that goal. I don't believe discipline exists in a vacuum. It has to be fueled by motivation. Like I got to be motivated to get behind the computer mic and engage somebody. I got to be, disciplined to stick to the script. But I believe that if I tell this story, it's going to change someone's life. So at the core of everything you do, it starts with belief. If you believe in yourself strong enough and you surround yourself with people who truly believe in you, you can accomplish anything. And then doing the discipline won't matter because your motivation is right on track to fuel the discipline. And I'm sticking to that. I believe in that strongly.
Yeah, who's going to carry the boats, man?
Well, here's
Not
my
me.
thing. Here's my thing. I was gonna play it, but I don't want to disrupt there. I don't want to step on that. That was great. And I think the positivity, I mean, people like to be positive and thank you. That was absolutely,
Yeah, it was incredible.
as you said. I appreciate that much. We're not going to play it. I'm not going to play it because I'm not going to step over the top of that.
Well, you got me all freaking fired up. You're not going to play it now? What? I mean,
that's all I needed. Now it's playing. Now I'm playing now. Now you're going to sit here.
I mean, I'm like, I want. This has got to be good if he wants to play it this bad. Let's hear it.
Listen, I can do a whole. So there is a station, Gunroom Radio, and you can be a DJ and play your own music, or you play the music of veterans, right? That's what they support, veterans. And my thing is I could do that and just play like the music I want to hear, and I'm letting this play a little bit, so it cuts down a little bit on the time. But my point is I just know, and I need this to be like in everyone's home, like people. There's veterans out there that can sing and they can share a story and they'll make you cry because these stories are what they lived through, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna add this video as they're explaining what the video is about. Go check it out. Shannon book. It's called Dear Mom, and we're gonna play right here.
In the fields, bro.
Well, you add 2 more.
Yeah.
A couple months later, it's still not working. Add 3 more. One night he called me. He was going to stay at base for the weekend. We had a conversation, and probably within 8 hours, he was dead.
I am the mother of Corporal Benjamin Kopp, who was an Army Ranger that was killed in action in July of 2009. The day after he landed at Walter Reed, he was determined to be brain dead. However, the brain death qualified him, if you will, to become an organ donor. And so his all of his major organs, bone, skin, and tissue were donated, and his heart is literally still beating today. And a woman from Chicago. You know, I believe it was Emerson, the poet, who stated that the one thing about life that he's learned is that it goes on, whether we want it to or not.
Dear Mom, I had a few minutes to write down what's itching inside my mind. It's been too long since we have talked about nothing at all. Wish I could call. I know you're lost. Please don't you worry. There's no need to hurry. Just stay strong. It won't be long before we're together. Right here in heaven, I miss you, Mom. Dear Mom, please believe I've done everything I needed to. Dear Mom, I'll be there when you breathe and while you're sleeping. Dear Mom, I know you are hurting, feeling the burden of me not there. You're way too strong to give up on living instead of still giving the love in your heart. I know it's hard, but never forget the things that I did and the reasons why you are my mom. So please keep on living, caring and giving. I love you, Mom. Dear Mom, please believe I've done everything I needed to. Dear Mom, I'll be there when you breathe while you're sleeping. I can't believe I'm saying these words to you, but believe what I'm saying. You made me the man that I am. I'll be there with you, baby, while you're sleeping. I love you, Mom.
Always gotta wait for that part.
Oh man,
Thank you, sir.
that's-
Appreciate
that's-
that from Shannon Book. Go for it, man. It's yeah,
Absolutely.
there's something out there that'll grab you by the heartstrings. Mr. Partington, thank you, sir. Appreciate you joining us. And again, we're going to do this again. Hopefully, we can do a one versus one. I'll come to your home. You come to my home already. So
Yeah, I gotta get you on, man.
Yeah, we'll get that on and share the stories of, we'll share the stories of veterans and those that are with us and those that have passed and why we get to do this, right? It's the cool part.
Well, Derek and Eric, thanks for having me on. I've had a great time, and it's a great show. And so, you're coming on Oscar Mike Radio. We'll make that happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.
That's Travis. So thank you. It was
Eric,
nice
what a
meeting
pleasure.
you.
Have a good night.
Sir.
D.
D.
I was gonna do something else, and
there's always more to be done.
There's always more, dude, and that's there's always more. Give me something good. Give me something good.
Yeah, I think I waited. I went full David Goggins, and I was like, "Who's gonna carry the boats, man?" But no, I don't know, man. Life's crazy. Life's gonna throw some stuff at us, and it's just super important to keep people around us that are always, excelling at being there for each other. And you've been there for me. So to kind of go back to, you were talking about you wanted to join the military, but you've done as much as anybody for the veteran community and for everyone out there. And, you've been there for me endless amounts of times already. And I can't be more appreciative for that. So just for everyone out there, remember to reach out to somebody, touch somebody, be there, reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a while. Make sure you're checking in on everybody because you don't know what's going on in their lives. We don't know what's going on in everyone's head at any given time. And it's just super important to just be willing to be there. And sometimes they just need somebody to listen.
Yeah. And then, we get so adamant about answering. And I've tried to do a better job of listening to the answer to my question and letting people talk out. But yeah, sometimes you don't even need to say nothing. Just, hey, man, what's up? How's it going? Just checking in on you, making sure the phone still works. I do need to play Gary Miller Mobile Tax Service.
Yeah, I was going to say we were missing that.
Yeah, it is tax season. I got to hang out with Gary this week. Saturday, Sunday, one of those days. And don't be afraid of your taxes. Remember, that's money that's taken out of your check, so that's your money that's owed to you. So, appreciate you, Mark. Appreciate you checking in, man. So let's do Gary Miller Mobile Tax Service, and we'll get out of here. Gary Miller.
Do you dread having to do your taxes? Does the mere thought of it make your head spin? Miller's Mobile Tax Service is here for you. We will handle your individual or business taxes. We will come to you to prepare your taxes. We are skilled, professional, and ready to get started for you. Call 209-678-8515.